That's right, only 0.62% of all businesses created from scratch are able to reach the milestone of $100,000 of monthly revenue. Again, that's monthly. Unfortunately, but here's the good news. After today's video, you'll have the knowledge to become part of the elite club just as I did. How? Well, it's all about the 3 pillars of success. Before diving into the first pillar, I want to make sure you're set up for success in the best way possible, okay? So first things first, I want to congratulate you on the path you have followed until now. So whether you're making $5,000 a month in revenue or $50,000 a month in revenue, you've taken the most difficult step already. 99% of people who dream of their own businesses don't get any further than just simply talking about it. So you actually did something. Now, why is it so difficult to reach $100,000 per month? Well, let's do the math. 38% of businesses fail, I should say, within the first 3 years, and even 50% within the first 5 years. So you're doing a great job being here today. Of the remaining businesses, only 1% are able to reach $100,000 per month, and it takes them between 3 to 5 years to do so. That means that from the 62% of the remaining businesses after 3 years, only 0.62% will reach $100,000 of monthly revenue. After 5 years, this number drops even further to 0.5%. So don't start to panic yet. Without you being aware of it, exponential growth is closer than you think. In most cases, there is one big issue you will have to deal with, which is to make your business skyrocket. And it's you. You are trying to do as much as possible yourself. And that's where it's wrong. That's where the mistakes happen. You're trying to do everything yourself. Are you hesitant to let others do your tasks? Wrong, you shouldn't. Are you refusing more clients because you don't have the time yourself to service them, or to sell them, or to market to them? Wrong. The big secret of achieving $100,000 per month is creating a scalable business. And the biggest roadblock is you on the path to your own 7-figure business. How are you going to scale? Well, this is where my 3 pillars to success come into place. The only way to make your business scalable is by removing yourself from the day-to-day tasks. Make yourself, for lack of a better term, unimportant in your own business. To be able to do so, you have to list, I know this sounds meticulous, detail-oriented, that might not be your strong suit, but you have to do it. List all the tasks that you're executing during the day. And when I say all the tasks, I mean literally everything. From answering emails, to scheduling appointments, to accounting, to online presence, even strategic tasks, to management, the whole 9 yards, recording content, everything. Take your time to list out everything before you continue to watch the rest of the video. Just press pause. Now, having the list in front of you while watching the second part of this video will make much more sense to you. Ready? So let's dive into the first pillar, elimination. Now that you listed out all the tasks you're attending, it's time to start the real work. Go over the whole list of tasks and find the 20% that relates to your unique ability. This means only you can do this task, since you're the best person to do this task, or it's almost impossible to hand it over to somebody else. Again, you might be doing 100 tasks, find the small 20% in which you're a rock star at, you're killing it, and no one can come close to your level of performance if you're doing this task. And from the remaining 80%, see which ones you can eliminate. You know those tasks, you know those products, you know those services that don't push the needle forward. You might be offering products and services that no one's really buying. Why do you continue to offer it? Cut it out. By focusing your time on the top 20% of tasks that you can do, you can really start scaling. One task I used to think was important in my business was my group coaching. I had, let's say, live Q&A coaching sessions actually twice a week. And one was for real estate, another one was for personal finance. And then we started tracking the data, and we realized our star customers and clients, those are the ones who opted in to enroll into our services. And with the services, they have a person that works with them one-on-one, so it's constant communication, back and forth through written communication, through phone. And so they really didn't have the need to join this group coaching session just because I was hosting it. And part of it was my pride. I thought that, oh, they want to speak with me, and that wasn't the case. They just wanted the end result. That's all they care about, not necessarily speak with me. So once we looked at the data and started going through the same process I'm sharing with you, we began to eliminate, okay, instead of having 2 live Q&As every single week, we condensed into a real estate live Q&A week 1, personal finance week 2, real estate again week 3, personal finance again week 4. And it cut our time, and we condensed the time from let's say hour and a half to 2 hours per session to say, hey, every person who joins, you have about 10 minutes or so to answer questions. So we made it very concise, gave people some standards in regard to their questions, and it cut down the time. And we also created frequently asked questions. We created a help center. We created help articles. We created cheat sheets. Once we began to tabulate all the frequent questions they had on the live Q&As, and we created resources we put into a training program, there was no need for them to join. There was no need for them to ask all these questions. So that's what I mean. You can eliminate when you really get a good eye on your business and you really start thinking smarter. All right, let's jump into the second pillar, automation. I know you might be thinking, hey man, I'm not tech friendly. I'm not trying to hear that. Hey, just keep an open eye, keep an open ear for me, okay? Automation is finding a machine, or AI, artificial intelligence, to do the job of a human. If you're doing reports manually with formulas, then that's something that can be automated. If you're emailing prospects back and forth to get them on a calendar, trying to schedule at the right time, that too can be automated. So let me just share with you a little bit more and give you more detail about the manual reporting I used to do. So for one, this is something you can't eliminate. Just like driving a car, you gotta have a dashboard that lets you know how much gas you got in the tank, how fast you're going, how your engine's running, all that stuff. You gotta see all these gauges, right? That's the same thing when you being the CEO or in C-suite, if you're a COO, driving your company. You gotta see these metrics, these KPIs, these dashboards. And so I had to make sure I get the numbers to see how we're doing. But the issue was, oh man, this is so time consuming. And it was a lot of technical things, and then I realized, hold on. If I enter all these data points into a spreadsheet, then perhaps I can find someone temporarily to be able to create formulas and automate this process for me. Or maybe there could be some software out there in which the software, as long as I upload my login details to the different websites I use to tabulate this data, maybe it can auto-calculate it for me. And so once I started thinking about elimination and automation, it began to free up more time on my behalf. And it could do the same for you. So now you understand better the possibilities of automation. Let's go another time over that task list we talked about. For every task that hasn't been eliminated or automated yet, what I want you to do is do a quick research on the internet. Just pull out your smart device and see what are the possibilities. So in the days when artificial intelligence is booming, there exists software for virtually almost every task that you can imagine. This is a cool thing where I married elimination and automation together. So I had 2 different services, right? I had one that dealt with attribution, meaning just seeing where leads are coming from so we can track to see the success of our marketing campaigns, whether organic or paid traffic. And then 2, I had a CRM in which we use for email marketing, right? And of course, we would send an email out on the time frame that we thought would be best. But then we found another email marketing software that combined the attribution model, so that way we can track. So that's elimination. So I didn't have to pay separately for this automation, for this attribution tracking, because it was now including the email marketing. And then 2, It included AI to determine the best day and time to send out emails based upon the subscribers' habits and characteristics when they open their email. And so with this new email marketing system, I was able to merge the two of elimination, because I eliminated attribution because it includes attribution, and B, automation, because I was able to automate the emails. So you can do the same thing as well. You don't think that, oh, I only have to eliminate this task or only have to automate this task. If you're thinking creatively, you can marry the two to be able to kill two birds with one stone. All right, let's get into the third and final pillar, delegation. You might be thinking, oh no, I don't want to delegate because freelancers are no good or internal team members are no good. Hey, delegation is all about finding the best person to do the job and having them take ownership. So maybe you might have found people, but they weren't the best person, or they never took ownership. So some tasks are just too delicate or variable to be done by software or AI. So you should find the right person who can take over the task. Train them in how to do it correctly and follow through on their performance in regard to monitoring their KPIs. And personally, I used to think that payroll was too delicate for me to delegate. Don't get me wrong, payroll is very easy to do. You know, if you have a certain system like Wise or Bill.com or what have you, or Payoneer, there's many ways you can pay your people who work abroad or who work international, your remote team. Very easy, simple process to do. However, the thing that I kept putting off was actually me doing it myself and delegating to someone else, because I'm like, oh snap, I gotta be transparent, or books will be open. And so I had to wrestle with it myself and say, hey, well, is that part of the core values? Do you wanna have a company of transparency? So that way, all team members can have buy-in, because they might say, oh, we want incentives. Well, hey, you gotta perform, because look, let's take a look at the books. If you want incentives, hey, I'd be happy to pay you. I wanted you to be incentivized for the good work you do, but we got to make it work with the books. So what fresh ideas do you have so that we can make more money and reduce costs? And I realized that's the culture I wanted, because I wanted them to think like owners. So that way, as an owner, you're always thinking about two things, right? How to increase your profits and decrease your costs. So what did I do? I said, okay, well, I'm going to train my second in command who runs the show. He's my integrator. And say, hey, well, this is how we do payroll. So this is how we pay internal team, external team. This is how we do the bank transfers, all that great stuff. But the thing that you can't do, you can't pay yourself. I have to do that. So that's one thing I couldn't delegate. But sometimes delegation doesn't necessarily mean that it's a difficult job. It could be an easy job, but you have to wrestle with yourself and stay true to your core values. The other thing I want to say about delegation is this. You don't necessarily have to delegate tasks to someone who can do the job at less quality than you or who's a newbie at it. In fact, you actually want to hire people who could do the job better than you, especially if you're the founder, right? As a founder, your job is to get the systems up, running, to be like a C, B-level student in these things. You know, the marketing is straight, or if it's not your unique ability, of course, if it's your unique ability, you should be an A player. That's the 20% I mentioned that you shouldn't delegate, that you should do when you wrote out your list. But if you realize, okay, well, I'm not really the best at support, not really the best at HR or admin and whatever, then you want to hire rock stars who are better than you. And they should come into your company and build it out. So that way, if their main focus are on those departments or those tasks or those positions in which they're doing the job way better than you could ever do, and you just focus on your unique ability, then all ties will rise the ships to the point where you guys are scaling and you're making that 100K per month. All right, let's take a look back at your list. You did a great job eliminating the tasks that are unimportant, automating the tasks that are repetitive, and delegating the tasks that don't require your input. So from that long list you started with, you are left with a handful of tasks. These few remaining tasks are your priorities, and prioritization is crucial if you want to scale your business to $100,000 per month. As a business owner, you have only a set amount of hours available each and every week or throughout the day, and that's non-negotiable. The only variable you can influence is how you decide to use those hours. Do you want to use them to answer emails, which is a low-wage activity, or to acquire new clients, right? unless emails is your unique ability, or which I doubt. Or do you want to use them to schedule social media posts or to make strategic decisions, right? If you're an awesome marketer, do you want to use that time to market or to schedule appointments? I decided to use them on tasks where nobody could replace me, and this resulted in an exponential growth of my business. Now, how about you? Were you able to divide your list into those 3 pillars? Are you ready to act upon these? Well, great, because there is more, and I would like to share it with you in person. So if you're ready to take action, check the link below in the description of this video to get access to a one-on-one call with me for free. I want to lay out for you my 4-step system, which will save you more time while generating more profit. Sounds tempting, right? Especially that it's free at the moment. So just be quick, as I only have limited available slots in my calendar.